The planet lay in silence. No ships orbited its pale blue atmosphere, and no signals reached the deep space monitors of nearby civilizations. To the galaxy, this world was long forgotten, a barren planet where humans had once lived and then vanished. But beneath its cracked surface, deep under the mountains and deserts, something slept. Dr. Mara Veylan adjusted her helmet visor and brushed a layer of fine silver dust from the console in front of her. The base camp sat at the edge of a jagged canyon carved by forces no one alive had seen. Around her, the ruins of ancient buildings jutted from the rock like frozen monuments, their edges worn smooth by time. "It's bigger than we thought," she murmured, almost to herself. Behind her, two colleagues, Jaren Kest and Lila Arden, stood staring at a massive circular structure half buried in sand. Its surface shimmered faintly, as though it remembered the light of a long-lost sun. "This isn't just an old colony," Jaren said, his voice tinged with awe. "It's a gateway, a stargate. And if the old texts are right..." He trailed off, eyes wide. Lila shook her head, brushing sand from her uniform. "You mean to say humans built this, here, on a planet no one even remembers?" Mara nodded slowly. "Not just built it. We left it behind, for a reason." They had found this world almost by accident. The galaxy believed humans had disappeared thousands of years ago. Civilizations had risen and fallen since then, spreading their fleets, trade routes, and philosophies across star systems. Yet here, hidden in a small abandoned corner of space, humanity's last traces waited. "What happens if we turn it on?" Lila asked, her voice small. Mara looked at the gate's etched surface. Strange symbols glowed faintly beneath her gloved fingers. They pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. "We'll find out," she said. Her fingers hovered over a control panel, scanning for the correct activation sequence. The instructions had been encrypted, centuries old, left behind by humans who had planned for this moment long before anyone else remembered their existence. Jaren stepped closer. "Do you really think it's safe?" Mara paused, feeling the weight of history pressing down on her. "Safe? I don't know. But humans were never meant to stay hidden forever. Maybe it's time the galaxy remembered us." She pressed a small triangular button. The panel lit up and the air around the gate began to hum. The ground vibrated gently and a faint glow began to fill the ring. The symbols shifted, forming patterns that none of them could read fully but somehow understood. "It's alive," Lila whispered. The light grew brighter. Suddenly a column of energy shot up from the gate, a ribbon of silver-blue light stretching high into the sky. The ground shook and sand cascaded down the canyon walls. The explorers took a step back, shielding their eyes. Then, with a sound like a sigh, the gate opened. A tunnel of swirling light appeared, vast and infinite, as if the fabric of space itself had been folded open. Mara's heart raced. "We did it," she said, barely able to believe her own words. "We opened it." For a moment, silence returned. The wind whispered through the canyon, carrying the scent of metal and sand, and then faintly a sound came from the tunnel itself. It was low at first, almost like a vibration, and then it grew, a hum of machinery, of energy, of life long dormant. "Do you hear that?" Jaren asked. Mara nodded. "It's the gate. It's waking something." Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet trembled violently. Dust and debris fell from the canyon walls, and a deep rumble echoed across the ruins. The symbols on the gate shifted faster, forming shapes and letters no one alive had seen before. Lila grabbed Mara's arm. "Mara, something's coming." Before anyone could react, a light burst from the center of the gate, forming a figure that floated in the shimmering tunnel. It was humanoid in shape, taller than any human alive, with a sleek silver body and glowing blue eyes. Its movements were smooth, deliberate, almost graceful. "It's an AI," Mara breathed. "A custodian, one of the ancients' machines." The figure spoke, though its mouth did not move. Its voice resonated directly in their minds. "Welcome, children of the first humans. You have awakened the legacy." The ancients return. Jaren stumbled backward, staring at the figure. The ancients? That's us, isn't it? Yes, the AI replied. You are the descendants. You are the ones who were hidden, forgotten, but now you are here, and the galaxy must remember. The three explorers stared in awe. The AI extended a hand, and a holographic map appeared in the air between them. Stars, planets, and fleets, some ancient, some new, glimmered in intricate patterns. Lines of light connected distant systems, showing paths no current civilization knew existed. This is incredible, Lila said, barely able to form words. All of this? Humans made? The AI's eyes glowed brighter. We built it. We guided the galaxy long before you were born. And now you carry the knowledge forward. You must awaken what sleeps in the stars. Mara swallowed hard. This time, humans weren't gone. We just weren't remembered. The AI inclined its head. And now the galaxy will remember. The fleets, the cities, the stars. They will see humans as they were meant to be seen. Creators, explorers, guides. You are the ancients returned. Suddenly, another hum joined the first, a deep vibration that shook the ground again. From the depths of the gate, shapes began to emerge. Long, dormant ships, massive in scale, floated slowly into the open. Their hulls were sleek, painted with markings no human alive recognized, but unmistakably human in design. Jaren's jaw dropped. Those ships, they're ours? The AI's voice was calm. They have waited. They are ready. You only need to take your place among them. Mara stepped closer to the gate, her eyes wide. Take our place? Do you mean fly them? Yes. You are meant to awaken this fleet. The galaxy has moved on, but it is unprepared for your return. You must guide it. Show it what humans can do. The explorers looked at each other, fear and excitement mingling in their eyes. This was not just a discovery. This was a call to action. Lila swallowed hard, her hands trembling. And if the galaxy doesn't accept us? Mara placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Then we show them why humans were never meant to be forgotten. The AI's glow brightened. The time is now. Step forward, children of the ancients. Claim your place among the stars. With a shared glance, the three explorers approached the gate. One by one, they stepped into the shimmering tunnel, feeling a strange pull, as if the universe itself was guiding them. The light enveloped them completely, and for a moment they felt weightless, as though they were flying through the heartbeat of the galaxy. When they opened their eyes, they were no longer on the barren planet. They stood on the deck of a massive human ship, suspended in space, surrounded by hundreds more. Ships of every shape and size floated in formation, engines dormant but glowing faintly. It was a fleet unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, and it belonged to them. This is real, Jaren whispered. Yes, Mara said, a smile spreading across her face. It's real, and it's ours. The AI appeared again, hovering above the command deck. You are the ancients returned. The galaxy will soon see you, and when it does, it will never expect what comes next. Mara looked out through the viewport, at the stars that stretched endlessly before them. For the first time, she felt the full weight of what they had discovered. Humans were not lost. Humans were not forgotten. They were back, and the galaxy was about to remember. The human fleet floated silently through space, a ghostly armada awakened after centuries of slumber. Stars reflected on their sleek hulls, and the hum of dormant engines whispered through the void. For Mara, Jaren, and Lila, standing on the command deck of the lead ship was a surreal experience. The fleet had always been a legend, a dream, and now it was real, waiting for them to take control. Are we really ready for this? Lila asked, her eyes fixed on the screens showing dozens of ships, all perfectly aligned. Mara shook her head, slowly, awe in her voice. We don't know what's out there, but humans always find a way. That's what the ancients taught us. Jaren leaned over a holographic display, tracing the routes to the nearest star systems. The closest inhabited system is Tyrellian Prime. It's a major hub for trade and diplomacy. Aliens from 3 different civilizations meet there regularly. If we want to announce ourselves, that's the place. Mara nodded. Then that's where we go. But remember, we are not here to fight. We are here to be remembered. As they left the gate behind, the fleet followed seamlessly, engines flaring briefly as they synchronized their movements. The ships had been designed to operate autonomously for centuries, but with the humans awake, they responded with surprising precision and fluidity. It was as if the fleet itself remembered its masters. By the time they reached Tyrellian Prime, the system's defenses detected them instantly. Alien sensors pinged across the control hubs, sending alerts to the city below. Within minutes, holographic images of alien warships appeared in the city council's chambers. "What is that?" a Tyrellian officer asked, his voice sharp with alarm. "Those designs, they're human?" "No human fleet has existed for millennia," another council member said, disbelief in her tone. "We were told humans disappeared thousands of cycles ago. This cannot be real." But it was real. Mara and her team watched from the bridge as the human fleet slowed near the system's edge. The lead ship projected a simple holographic message into the surrounding space, a greeting in multiple alien languages. "We are the humans. We were thought extinct. We have returned. We mean no harm." The alien ships hesitated, unsure whether to attack or retreat. For centuries, humans had been a story, a myth whispered among historians and diplomats. Now they stood, or rather floated, in front of them, alive, advanced and undeniable. Lila's fingers hovered over the console. "Do you think they'll respond?" Mara nodded. "We have to give them time. Trust is built slowly, not demanded." Hours passed. The fleet remained in orbit, engines quiet but ready. Then slowly, a single alien vessel approached, moving cautiously through the gravitational field of Tyrellian Prime. Its design was unlike anything humans had seen. Angular, sleek, and colored with iridescent patterns that shimmered in space. A message came through the ship's communication channel. "This is Commander Thalrin of the Tyrellian Guard. Identify yourselves. Why do you appear in our system without prior notice?" Mara stepped forward. "We are humans. We were believed extinct. We have awakened our fleet and returned to the galaxy. We come in peace and we wish to make contact with your leaders." Silence filled the channel for a long moment. Then Thalrin's voice returned, tense but curious. "Humans, you are alive? After all these cycles? This is unprecedented. Stand by. We will communicate with your representatives." The aliens requested a smaller delegation of human ships to approach the planet. Mara selected a few vessels and descended toward Tyrellian Prime, keeping the fleet in orbit. As they entered the atmosphere, the city below stretched like a jewel, sprawling with towers, trading hubs, and flying transports. Once on the surface, Mara, Jaren, and Lila were escorted into a council chamber. Alien delegates from multiple species filled the room. Their appearances varied, some reptilian, some avian, some glowing with bioluminescent skin. All stared in disbelief at the humans standing before them. You are the humans?" one delegate asked. His scales shimmered, and his eyes were wide with astonishment. "We were told your species vanished millennia ago, and yet you stand here whole and advanced." Mara bowed slightly. "Yes, we have returned. We do not seek conflict or dominance. We come to share knowledge and to reconnect with the galaxy that we helped shape long ago." The room buzzed with murmurs. Aliens whispered to one another, eyes darting between humans and each other. Some were excited, others wary. Commander Thalrin stood. "You speak of shaping the galaxy? How can a species lost for thousands of years have influence now?" Jaren stepped forward, a holographic map unfolding in the center of the room. Stars, routes, and fleets glowed in intricate patterns. "Our ancestors left more than myths behind. Humans built networks across many systems, technology, stargates, fleets, knowledge that guided civilizations long before written history. That legacy never died, and now we are here to continue it. One delegate raised a hand. If this is true, why return now? Why appear suddenly? Mara looked around the room, meeting the eyes of every alien present. Because it is time. The galaxy is at a crossroads. Conflicts, misunderstandings, and stagnation grow. We have the knowledge and creativity to help, not to control but to guide, to show that cooperation and innovation can create a better future for all. The aliens exchanged looks, some skeptical, some intrigued. A soft murmur ran through the room, as if the idea of humans as guides was both impossible and irresistible. Then, a crisis occurred that no one could ignore. A massive energy surge erupted from one of the city's core reactors. Alarms blared, and the council members shouted, "Orders!" The energy threatened to overload and destroy the surrounding city. Without hesitation, Mara and her team sprang into action. Using their ancient technology and knowledge of energy systems, they interfaced with the reactor. Lights danced on panels, holographic schematics unfolded, and the humans worked with precision and creativity. Jaren directed the flow of energy. Lila recalibrated the reactor's stabilizers. Mara coordinated from the command deck of their nearby ship, projecting holograms and instructions to the humans on the ground. Within minutes, the reactor stabilized. The danger passed. The council stared in shock. The humans, who had returned from Myth, had just saved the city without firing a single weapon. Commander Thalrin's voice echoed in the chamber. I do not understand. How did you? Mara smiled gently. Humans think differently. We adapt. We create. We solve problems. This is how we return, not with force, but with knowledge and ingenuity. The room was silent for a moment. Then the delegates began to speak, not as one voice, but as many, slowly realizing the truth. Humans were not the threat they feared. They were something entirely unexpected, capable, inventive, and cooperative. A delegate from the luminous Vayari species stepped forward. Perhaps the galaxy has underestimated humans. Perhaps your return is necessary. Another spoke. If you can stabilize reactors, what else can you do? What other knowledge have you brought? Mara looked at Jaren and Lila, then back to the council. We can share technology, help improve your systems, teach sustainable energy, rebuild, lost connections across the stars. We can work together if you let us, the council murmured. The skepticism remained, but curiosity had taken root. Humans were not the legends of war or extinction. They were legends of innovation, endurance, and hope. Outside, the human fleet remained in orbit, ready for anything. But Mara knew it would not be needed, at least not in the way anyone feared. Humans had returned not to conquer but to inspire, and already the first sparks of trust were forming. Commander Thalrin finally spoke, slower this time with a hint of respect. You may stay. We will observe. We will learn. But be warned, the galaxy is not simple. Acceptance will take time. Mara nodded. We understand, and we are ready to be patient. Humans have waited long enough. Now we act. As the delegation left the chamber, Leela whispered, "Did we just change their minds?" Mara smiled, her eyes shining. We just showed them what humans can do, that's all it takes. One problem solved, one idea shared, and the galaxy begins to remember. Jaren leaned against a railing, looking out at the stars. I think they're going to be amazed by what comes next. Mara joined him, her gaze on the horizon, where the human fleet gleamed against the darkness. Yes, and this is only the beginning. The ancients have returned, and the galaxy will never expect what happens next. Above them, the starlit void stretched endlessly. The humans' fleet floated silently, not as a weapon, but as a beacon. One by one, alien fleets around Tyrellian Prime began to monitor the humans more closely, whispers spreading across space. The humans are back. The ancients have returned, And somewhere deep in the void, countless civilizations that had long forgotten humanity began to ask the same question. What will they do next? The human fleet drifted above Tyrellian Prime, engines quiet, sensors active. Mara stood on the bridge of the lead ship, staring at the planet below. The city still hummed with energy, citizens talking in hushed whispers about the humans who had returned after millennia. "This is incredible," Lila said, watching the holographic display of the planet and surrounding star systems. "They're finally listening to us, but how do we tell them the truth about who we really are?" Mara rubbed her temples, thinking, "We can't just say we're the ancients. That doesn't mean anything unless they see proof. We need to show them what humans built, what humans created long ago." Jaren, hovering over the map, pointed to a series of star lanes. "There are other human worlds, hidden, dormant, systems where our ancestors left knowledge and technology that no one else found. If we activate them, the galaxy will understand." Lila's eyes widened. "You mean more fleets, more stargates, entire systems built by humans?" Mara nodded. "Yes, and we start with the closest one. It's time the galaxy remembers humans not as myths, but as architects of civilization." The journey to the first hidden world took hours. The fleet moved in perfect formation, each ship reflecting the stars like a mirror. When they arrived, Mara and her team saw a planet that looked dead from orbit, gray, barren, silent. But beneath the surface, their scanners detected enormous underground cities, still powered by ancient energy. "Everything is intact," Jaren said, his voice tight with awe. "It's like stepping into the past, but better, because it's ours." The explorers descended in shuttles, entering the planet through massive gateways long sealed. Inside, vast halls stretched into darkness, walls covered with glowing symbols. Machines hummed softly, waiting. It was a city of the ancients, preserved for thousands of years. This is amazing," Lila whispered, walking slowly. "How did humans create all of this?" Mara touched a console and the symbols shifted into a language recognizable to them. Holograms flickered to life, showing star maps, energy networks, and even archives of human knowledge shared with alien civilizations long ago. Jaren pointed at a map of the galaxy. "Look, these lines. These are connections between civilizations. Humans didn't just survive. They guided entire systems, gave knowledge, shared technology. And now," Mara said, her voice calm but powerful, "we're going to show them again." Back in orbit, alien fleets monitored the human ships. Some were still wary. Others were curious. A council of alien leaders arrived on Tyrellian Prime to observe the humans' next move. Mara knew this demonstration would determine how the galaxy would see humans from now on. She activated a holographic projection of the first hidden human world. Energy flowed through the networks, lighting up entire star systems in patterns that had been dormant for thousands of years. Alien observers gasped. These designs," one delegate said, his glowing eyes wide. "They are elegant, efficient. Nothing in our history has compared." Lila stepped forward. "Our ancestors built these systems to help civilizations grow, to share knowledge, not to dominate. Humans have always solved problems by creating solutions, not by destroying things." One skeptical alien leaned closer. "If humans were gone, how do you know these systems still function?" Mara smiled. "Because we are humans. We adapt, we remember, and we can awaken what was left behind." With a few gestures, the team activated a network of stargates. Lights lit up across the galaxy, linking systems that had never connected before. Trade routes, communication channels, and energy networks sprung to life. Aliens in the room stared, in disbelief as entire star systems began humming with activity, powered by long-forgotten human technology. The Vayari delegate leaned back, awed. This is impossible. Humans shaped the galaxy, and no one noticed?" "Yes," Mara replied. "Our ancestors wanted to leave knowledge, not control. They trusted other civilizations to use it wisely. And now, we return to guide, again without ruling. Jaren pointed to another section of the hologram. Look here. These archives, they show lessons we left for other species. Engineering, medicine, agriculture. Humans were teachers, advisors, innovators. And these are still relevant today. The council murmured among themselves. Some looked impressed, others cautious, but all were beginning to see the truth. Humans were not a threat. They were brilliance in flesh and ingenuity in mind. Suddenly, an alert rang through the ship. Mara's eyes widened. What is it? Jaren checked the sensors. An unknown fleet is approaching. Not Tyrellian ships, something else. They are curious, maybe wary. Mara nodded. Let them come. They will see what humans have done. That is the best way to gain trust. As the alien fleet drew closer, Mara opened a channel. We are humans. We were thought extinct. We have returned. See what we bring. Knowledge, technology, connection. We do not come for war. We come to share. The alien ships paused, their sensors scanning the human fleet. The sight of thousands of ships, ancient but active, and the activation of the Stargate network stunned them. Communication started streaming. Questions, astonishment, curiosity. Lila whispered, They're asking how we did this. Mara nodded. We show them, step by step. Humans do not hide knowledge. We share it, carefully and wisely. For the next hours, humans demonstrated the functions of the Stargates, the energy networks, and the archives. Alien engineers and scholars were invited aboard human ships observing the technology, learning the designs. Humans explained, taught, and collaborated. This is a revolutionary, one alien scholar admitted. Our civilizations have never seen such systems. It is beautiful, functional, sustainable. Mara smiled. That is humans. We do not just survive. We create, we innovate. We leave solutions behind so that everyone benefits. Jaren added, and now, we are awake again. We can guide, inspire, and help the galaxy grow, not control it. That is the promise of the ancients returned. The Alien Council began to discuss openly, a marked change from their earlier skepticism. Even the most cautious species acknowledged that humans had returned with knowledge, not power, with guidance, not conquest. But not all were convinced. In the shadows, representatives from a more secretive faction watched, their ships hidden. These humans, they claim to be the ancients. But can we trust them? One whispered. If they truly awaken all their systems, they could change everything. Entire civilizations could rely on them, or be influenced. Meanwhile, Mara, Jaren, and Lila continued their work, unaware of the silent observers. They activated more archives, showing alien delegates the wonders humans had left behind. Clean energy systems that powered entire planets, artificial ecosystems that restored dying worlds, and designs for cities that harmonized with nature rather than dominate it. Lila leaned over a console. They're starting to believe us. They're starting to see humans the way we always imagined, creative, helpful, remarkable. Mara nodded. Yes, and this is only the beginning. Once they understand the full extent of our legacy, the galaxy will never underestimate humans again. As night fell over Tyrellian Prime, the human fleet rested in orbit. Lights shimmered from the stargates below, networks active, linking distant systems. Mara looked out at the stars, thinking of the worlds yet to be awakened, the civilizations yet to meet humans, and the stories yet to be told. We are the ancients, she said softly. And the galaxy is about to remember everything we left behind. Jaren placed a hand on her shoulder. Do you think they're ready? Mara smiled. They don't know it yet, but they will be. Humans always leave a mark. And this time, it will be unforgettable. Somewhere in the distant reaches of the galaxy, hidden eyes watched, and the first ripples of curiosity and caution spread through alien worlds. humans had returned, not as warriors, not as conquerors, but as creators, innovators, and teachers. The secrets of the ancients were no longer hidden, and the galaxy, whether ready or not, was beginning to see humans in a new light. As the architects of possibility, the spark of innovation, the beacon of ingenuity, the awakening had begun. The galaxy was watching. Word of the humans' return spread like ripples through space, reaching civilizations far beyond Tyrrhelian Prime. Some were curious, some anxious, and some openly suspicious. To most, humans were myths revived, legends, from a distant past who claimed to hold knowledge and power that could change everything. Mara stood on the bridge of the lead ship, looking out at the stars. The fleet had grown. Some alien species, convinced of humans' intentions, had joined, the armada lending ships and crews. Others observed warily, keeping their distance. Mara could feel the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. "We have the knowledge, the fleet, and the legacy," she said softly to Jaren and Lila, who stood beside her. "But knowledge alone won't unite the galaxy. We need trust, cooperation. We need to show them humans are not a threat." Jaren frowned, studying the holographic map. "There's a system up ahead, Soralix. They have multiple alien civilizations in one region, but they've been in conflict for decades. Trade disputes, resource disagreements, nothing we caused, but everything we could help fix." Lila's eyes widened. "You want to mediate? Here? With all these tensions?" Mara nodded. "Yes. If humans can solve this peacefully, they will see what we're capable of. Not through force, but through diplomacy, innovation, and understanding." As they approached Soralix, the alien factions noticed immediately. The humans' fleet, massive but non-threatening, entered the system in precise formation. Holographic messages projected into space, visible to the factions below. "We are humans. We return to share knowledge and solutions. We do not seek dominance. We seek unity." There was hesitation. Alien fleets adjusted their orbits, sensors active, weapons ready. But Mara kept the human ships steady. The fleet's design was awe-inspiring, yes, but they did not radiate aggression. Instead, their presence was like a statement. Humans were different, and they were deliberate in their purpose. A Soralix diplomat arrived in orbit, projecting her form onto the communication channel. She was tall, with translucent wings and glowing eyes, her voice firm. "Humans, you are newly arrived. Your words are grand, but words alone do not resolve centuries of conflict. Why should we trust you?" Mara stepped forward. "Because we do not ask for trust blindly. We show it. We bring solutions. We do not judge. We do not conquer. We only create possibilities for everyone." The alien diplomat frowned. "Possibilities are theoretical. Actions speak louder." Mara nodded. "Then we act." The humans were given access to a disputed planet, a mining world rich in rare materials, hotly contested between two factions. Both sides had built fortifications, established trade posts, and stationed patrols, ready for conflict at any moment. Mara, Jaren, and Lila arrived on the planet with a small team. The moment they stepped onto the surface, they were met with cautious eyes. Alien guards stood ready, their weapons silent but visible. Lila looked around, whispering, "This could go wrong in seconds." Mara shook her head. "It won't. Humans solve problems differently. We see solutions where others see obstacles." They set up a small command station in the center of the mining zone. Using human technology, they analyzed the planet's systems, energy production, resource distribution, environmental impacts. Holograms displayed the findings, showing how the planet's resources could be shared fairly, efficiently, and sustainably. Jaren addressed the alien representatives. "If we redistribute production schedules, optimize energy use, and share access points, both factions can gain more than before. No one needs to fight. Everyone benefits." The factions murmured among themselves, skeptical. But Mara was prepared. She demonstrated the plan in real time. Machines adjusted output, transport routes changed, energy stabilized. Within minutes, the planet's systems were running smoother than ever, resources flowing without conflict, and environmental damage minimized. The alien diplomat stared, astonished. How did you do this? One whispered. Mara smiled. Humans observe, think, and create. We see patterns, find solutions, and adapt. We solve problems without war because we believe collaboration is stronger than conflict. Slowly, trust began to form. The factions agreed to adopt the new system, each side realizing they could benefit without confrontation. Alien citizens, previously anxious and defensive, started discussing the possibilities. Cooperation replaced suspicion. Lila shook her head in disbelief. They actually listened. They actually worked with us. Mara nodded. This is what humans do. We inspire others not through force, but through example. We show what is possible. Meanwhile, in orbit, other alien fleets observed the human fleet's actions. Rumors spread quickly across space. Humans were solving conflicts, not escalating them. They were turning disputes into opportunities. Some skeptics began to reconsider, wondering if humans might truly be a force for stability and growth. But not all were convinced. In a distant system, the secretive faction watching the humans whispered among themselves. These humans, they appear peaceful, but their knowledge is immense. If civilizations rely on them, who controls them? Who guides their decisions? Back on Seralix, the humans continued their work. They introduced sustainable energy systems, improved mining efficiency, and even suggested environmental restoration techniques to repair damaged areas. The alien factions marveled at the results. This is beyond anything we imagined, the Seralix diplomat admitted. You do not take sides, you do not demand loyalty, yet your influence spreads naturally. Mara smiled. That is humans. We build, we solve, we inspire. Influence comes not from power, but from creativity and care. Jaren pointed to the planet's central energy grid. With some minor adjustments, both factions could share energy equally, stabilize production, and even expand trade. No war needed. No one loses. The diplomats exchanged glances, clearly impressed. This is remarkable. Your species, humans, you are unlike anything we have known. Mara nodded. Yes, and that is why we have returned. To remind the galaxy what humans can do, not with weapons but with minds and hearts. As the Seralix system stabilized, Mara turned to her team. This is only the first step. Unity will not come easy, but humans have a way of showing the path. We lead by example, not by force. Lila looked out at the stars, feeling hope for the first time in her life. Do you think the rest of the galaxy will follow? Mara smiled. They will see. And when they do, they will remember humans for what we truly are. Creators, innovators, and guides. Not conquerors, not rulers, but a species that inspires others to be their best. In orbit, the human fleet prepared to depart. The alien factions waved, not with weapons, but with gestures of respect and curiosity. Ships from other systems that had joined the humans' armada followed quietly, ready to learn, to observe, and to participate. Before leaving, Mara sent one final message to all observing civilizations. Humans have returned. We are the ancients once forgotten. We do not seek conquest, only cooperation. Watch what we create. See what we can achieve together. The galaxy is vast, and the future belongs to those who solve problems, not wage wars. The message echoed across space, reaching civilizations who had long thought humans extinct. Whispers spread. The ancients have returned. The humans are different. The humans are remarkable. But in the shadows, distant watchers remained uneasy. The secretive faction noted every action, every technological advancement, every solution humans presented. If humans can unite the galaxy, who decides the future? They asked quietly. Mara, unaware of these hidden eyes, focused on the stars ahead. More systems awaited, more conflicts to resolve, more civilizations to inspire. Humans had returned not as legends of destruction, but as legends of ingenuity. This is only the beginning, Mara said softly. The galaxy will remember. The ancients are back, and we will guide without fear, without force, and without compromise to our principles. As the fleet moved forward into the void, shining against the blackness of space, alien fleets and civilizations watched in awe. Humans were not just returning, they were awakening a new era, one built on creativity, understanding, and collaboration. Some would embrace it, some would resist, but no one could deny the presence, the power, and the promise of humans. The challenge of unity had begun, and humans were showing that even the most divided civilizations could work together if given guidance, ingenuity, and trust. The galaxy, whether ready or not, was being transformed, not by war, but by the remarkable mind and spirit of humans. And somewhere in the farthest reaches of space, the secretive watchers prepared. They would test the humans, observe them, and challenge them, but they had not yet realized that humans had always faced challenges before, and had always found a way to succeed. Mara looked at the fleet, her heart steady and her mind sharp. Let them watch. Let them doubt. Let them resist. Humans will show the way, and when they do, the galaxy will never forget us again. The fleet glided forward, leaving behind the Soralic system now united in a way no one had imagined possible. Mara knew there would be more challenges, more obstacles, but she also knew humans were ready, for they were the ancients returned, and their time had come. The galaxy held its breath. Word of the humans' return had spread to the farthest systems, and now, the full scale of their presence was becoming impossible to ignore. The human fleet, awakened from centuries of dormancy, floated like a silent giant among the stars, not as a weapon, but as a beacon. As Mara, Jaren, and Lila stood on the bridge of the lead ship, looking at the holographic map showing hundreds of systems where humans had begun to reconnect with civilizations. "Look at this," Jaren said, pointing at the glowing lines connecting star systems. "Every network we've restored, every stargate we've activated, every alliance we've helped form, it's growing faster than we imagined." Lila smiled, but her expression was cautious. "Yes, but not everyone is happy. Some civilizations are still watching, waiting for us to fail. They fear humans' influence." Mara nodded. "That's true, but fear cannot stop what humans can do. We don't conquer, we guide, and the galaxy is about to see the best of what humans can achieve." Suddenly, alarms rang throughout the ship. Sensors detected a massive anomaly in a nearby system. A planet, home to millions of citizens from multiple species, was destabilizing. Energy surges from its core threatened to tear the planet apart. If unchecked, the disaster would wipe out entire civilizations. Mara's eyes narrowed. "This is it. This is the test. The galaxy is watching, and we must prove what humans can do, not with weapons, but with ingenuity, knowledge, and coordination." Jaren pulled up the planet's schematics. The energy readings. The planet's core is unstable. Multiple attempts to stabilize it have failed. They've been trying for decades. If we don't act, it's over. Lila swallowed. "Can we fix this?" Mara's expression was calm, confident. "We have to. Humans always find a way. Let's begin." The fleet moved into position around the planet, dozens of ships projecting stabilizing fields, their ancient technology interfacing with the planet's systems. Mara and her team coordinated from the lead ship, using the holographic displays to direct each ship and calculate the energy flows. The alien leaders watched from orbit and through remote communication channels. They were anxious but also curious. Could humans solve what they could not? Could the species long thought extinct rise to the occasion? Mara turned to her team. "Remember, we think like humans. We solve problems creatively. Look for patterns, connections, possibilities. Nothing else will work." For hours, the fleet worked tirelessly. The planet's energy fluctuated violently, massive storms erupting across its surface. The alien populations below watched in fear as human ships projected fields of stabilization, while teams of engineers, both human and alien, worked together to redirect energy flows. Jaren adjusted the controls. We need to redistribute the planetary energy core's flow. Too much here, too little there. It's like balancing a heartbeat. Lila recalibrated the field generators. I've synchronized the auxiliary cores. If we succeed, the planet will stabilize without losing any life. Mara coordinated the operation, using human ingenuity and intuition to anticipate problems before they occurred. Every adjustment, every calculation, every command moved them closer to success, and then slowly the planet began to respond. Energy readings normalized, the storms calmed. Lights flickered across cities below as systems came back online. Citizens emerged from shelters, cheering and looking up at the sky. Alien ships hovered in awe. The stabilization completed, Mara exhaled. It's done. The planet is safe. The alien council members stared, wide-eyed. One of them, a tall, silver-skinned diplomat, spoke first. I don't understand. We have struggled with this planet for decades. We could not stabilize it. And yet, you did it, humans. How? Mara smiled. We think differently. Humans observe, adapt, and create. We solve problems not by force but by understanding, by cooperation, and by applying knowledge in new ways. That is what humans have always done. The alien leaders were silent, then slowly, admiration replaced fear. The citizens below erupted in celebration. The humans had not just saved a planet. They had united civilizations, restored hope, and proved their value in a single extraordinary act. Jaren turned to Mara. Do you realize what this means? The galaxy has seen humans in action, not as warriors, not as conquerors, but as problem solvers, innovators, leaders by example. Lila nodded. Yes, they will remember us now, in ways they never did before. Mara looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of history and the future merging. This is the moment humans were meant for. We were once forgotten, but now we are remembered, and the galaxy will never be the same. As the celebrations began, reports streamed in from other systems. Factions that had resisted humans began to request contact. Others offered alliances. Trade routes reopened under human guidance, and lost civilizations began to reconnect through the reactivated Stargate networks. The galaxy, once fractured and suspicious, was beginning to see unity, not through domination but through humans' unique approach to problem-solving. Yet, somewhere in the shadows, the secretive faction that had been observing all along sent messages between their hidden fleets. The humans, they succeeded. But can we trust them? If they unite civilizations, who controls the future? Who decides the path? Mara, unaware of these distant whispers, continued her work. She activated archives containing ancient knowledge, blueprints, scientific data, and systems of governance left by the ancients for the betterment of the galaxy. Alien scholars and engineers from multiple species joined the humans, learning quickly, adapting human methods to their own worlds. We are not teaching to dominate, Mara told them. We are sharing to inspire. Humans leave solutions, not control. We believe the galaxy is stronger when everyone contributes, when knowledge is shared, and when problems are solved together. The alien leaders listened. Slowly, their doubts gave way to understanding. They began to implement the human solutions across their own systems, realizing that collaboration was more powerful than conflict. The galaxy, once wary, was beginning to trust the humans, and in doing so, trust in themselves. In orbit, Mara looked at her fleet, now a symbol of unity rather than fear. We came back to be remembered. We came back to show what humans can do. And now, the galaxy is learning. Jaren added, they'll never forget us. Not now, not ever. Lila smiled. We've changed history, and we didn't have to fight a single war. Mara nodded. That is the power of humans. Not strength, not weapons, but creativity, cooperation, and courage. That is why we are the ancients returned. As the fleet prepared to move on to new systems, helping civilizations yet unaware of humans' return, Mara reflected on everything that had happened. From the awakening of the stargates to the first contact, the demonstration of ancient technology, the peaceful resolution of conflicts, and finally, saving a planet from disaster, the journey had shown one undeniable truth: humans were extraordinary. Across the galaxy, civilizations adjusted to the presence of humans. Trade flourished, disputes were resolved without war, and networks of knowledge connected species in ways never before possible. Humans did not dominate, they guided. They did not control, they inspired. In the farthest reaches of space, even the secretive faction could not deny the truth. Humans had returned. Humans had succeeded. Humans had remade the galaxy without a single act of violence. Mara looked out at the stars, the endless expanse of possibilities stretching before her. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The galaxy will remember humans not as myths, not as extinct legends, but as creators, innovators, and guides. We are the ancients returned, and the future belongs to those who dare to imagine it." And so humans, the ancients once forgotten, had returned. The galaxy had never expected it, and now it would never forget. The fleet glided forward, carrying hope, knowledge, and unity to every star system. The galaxy was remade, not by force, not by conquest, but by the extraordinary spirit of humans. Somewhere, distant civilizations whispered, "The humans are back. The ancients have returned, and they are unlike anything we have ever known."